Let me lay out a scenario for you. You've gone into your parents', perhaps your grandparents' house, and you're finding strange things in their home. You're finding certificates of appreciation on their refrigerator. You're finding pictures of children who are not related to you sprinkled throughout the house, perhaps on the Christmas tree or again on the refrigerator. You're finding pens with random charities on them. This particular pen had my loved one's name printed on it. And worst of all, you're finding dream catchers sprinkled throughout the home. Are your parents suddenly huge fans of Coachella? Are they suddenly teenage girls obsessed with the boho look? No, it's worse than that. They've donated to St. Joseph's Indian School. Welcome to Drowning in Junk Mail. Oh no, I've got glitter all over me. Oh my God. I am so sorry for that horrible 1980s PSA. Instead of finding, bad music like Judas Priest or Iron Maiden, you're finding dream catchers made in China in your parents' home. Hello, everybody. Today is all about St. Joseph's Indian School, a charity located in Chamberlain, South Dakota. This charity is something else. St. Joseph's Indian School is the charity that quite literally and figuratively puts the junk in your junk mail. They are notorious for loading up their mail pieces with just trash, basically trash. There is nothing sacred about this. The original packaging literally tells me that it was made in China. It's pretty nasty what we're dealing with here. We're going to be touching on some pretty rough topics today. We've got abuses by the Catholic Church. We've got Native American boarding schools. We've got white guilt, Catholic guilt, white saviors, hold on, this is a big word. Reciprocity, and charitable giving, and obviously how the junk that they sent in this junk mail is literally killing the planet. This plastic is going to last forever. This isn't going anywhere. This pen is going to last 100 years. So when you or your parent, your loved ones, when they donate to St. Joseph's Indian School, they are not really donating to the school. They are actually donating to a multi-billion-dollar corporation that does professional fundraising. And this corporation takes a massive chunk out of your donation. Who are you really donating to? Are you actually donating to these little children, or are you actually donating to the owners of this professional fundraising company? I like to use St. Joseph's Indian School as a test case, as an example of exactly the kind of charity you should never, ever donate to. They don't have a charity rating because they are a church. They do not have to open their books up like a regular charity does. If they wanted people to know what their financials actually look like, they could open their books up. And I know of multiple organizations that would gladly do an audit on them to show everybody what a good charity they are. Never, ever, ever donate to a charity that gives you premium gifts like these. This is completely unacceptable, because the money that is spent on sending you this trash could be spent on programs. So all the money that goes to making this little fake dream catcher is not going to the children, is not going to classroom time. So this charity overspends on fundraising. We're going to take a little peek into their financials as much as I can. And then for me, the biggest reason you should never ever donate to this charity is because they sell your information to other like-minded charities and fill up your mailbox with lots and lots of junk mail. So never ever donate to a charity that is notorious for selling your information. This charity purposefully targets the elderly, and if this elderly person has dementia, for them, so much the better, and they will bleed your relatives dry of all of their money. I am going to clown on St. Joseph's Indian School and their fundraiser Innovairre. I don't know how to pronounce Innovairre, until they stop fundraising like this. This junk mail is aimed at old white people, specifically women in their 80s. I have seen so many obituaries of people who have died who say, in lieu of flowers, make a donation to St. Joseph's Indian School. I have received so many alerts like this that I actually had to change my Google alert for St. Joseph's Indian School so I did not see every time an old person died. I was getting so many alerts during COVID. It was, oh my God, it was a nightmare. Every time a person died, I was getting an alert for it. It was horrible. In the description box, the first link you are going to is a link to the information for this charity so that you can opt out. It will take 90 days to flush out of this charity's system. I'm going to give you some background about St. Joseph's Indian School. I'm going to have to back up about 150 years back into the 1800s to actually tell the full story of St. Joseph's Indian School. So first, we're going to read the wiki page for Native American boarding schools. So buckle up, everybody. This is some ugly stuff. Native American boarding schools, also more recently known as American Indian residential schools, were established in the United States from the mid-17th to the early 20th centuries with a primary objective of civilizing or assimilating Native American children and youth into European American culture. In the process, these schools denigrated Native American culture and made children give up their language and religion. At the same time, the schools provided a basic Western education. These boarding schools were established by Christian missionaries of various denominations. The missionaries were often approved by the federal government to start both missions and schools on reservations, especially in lightly populated areas of the West. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries especially, the government paid religious orders to provide basic education to Native American children on reservations and later established its own schools on reservations. The Bureau of Indian Affairs, the BIA, also founded additional off-reservation boarding schools based on the assimilation model. These sometimes drew children from a variety of tribes. In addition, religious orders established off-reservation schools. Children were typically immersed in European American culture. Schools forced removal of indigenous cultural signifiers, including cutting children's hair, having them wear American-style uniforms, forbidding them from speaking their mother tongues, and replacing their tribal names with English language names for use at the schools as a part of the assimilation to Christianize them. The schools were usually harsh, especially for younger children who had been forcibly separated from their families and forced to abandon their Native American identities and cultures. Children sometimes died in the school system due to infectious disease. Investigations in the later 20th century revealed cases of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. Okay, so I'm back. That was literally the first two paragraphs of American Indian boarding schools. So this was government-sanctioned cultural genocide. They removed these children from their homes and really removed every trace of their culture, including their language, their clothing, and their food. All of it gone. They wiped these children clean. I'm going to briefly touch on the largest, possibly the most famous in Indian school, residential school called Carlisle Indian School. It is one of the best documented American Indian residential schools. The photographs that I used while I was reading the wiki page, those photos were from the Carlisle Residential School. The photographs that I showed you were sent to officials in Washington to give updates on the progress reports for the government. They were sent to potential donors to Carlisle Indian School, and they were also sent to reservations to recruit new students to the school. So those photos that I showed you were essentially ads for the Carlisle Indian School, just like the photos that St. Joseph's Indian School uses today. So Carlisle Indian School was run by a guy called Captain Richard Henry Pratt, and he gave a very famous speech where it bore out the unofficial motto of residential schools, which is kill the Indian in him and save the man. So kill the Indian to save the man. That's what they were doing. They literally killed the soul of these little children to make them good Americans. So that's enough of Carlisle Indian School. I just wanted to touch on where I got all those photos from. Let's move on to St. Joseph's Indian School. So now that we have the bigger umbrella picture of what was going on with these Native American residential schools, let's talk about the history of St. Joseph's in particular. So St. Joseph's Indian School is an American boarding school run by the Congregation of Priests of the Sacred Heart, and the school is located just outside of Chamberlain, South Dakota. The school is within 2 hours of 3 reservations of the Lakota people: the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation, the Lower Buell Indian Reservation, and the Crow Creek Indian Reservation, whose children comprise the majority of students that go to this particular school. The current school is on the property of the Chamberlain Indian School that was founded in 1898. So the modern school is on the property of an old of a previous residential school. Chamberlain Indian School was operated to educate and assimilate Native American children from the Lakota reservations, and it ran at capacity until 1909. So that facility closed down and was sold to the Catholic Church, and it was run as a private boys' school for a while. In the early 1920s, some parents of the Lakota reservations expressed interest in gaining additional educational opportunities for their school-aged children. Eventually, they picked the old site of the Chamberlain Indian School to start this new school. The St. Joseph's Indian School opened in 1927 with 53 students. Even though this was a brand new school, brand new people operating it, it was at the time, it was federal policy that required Native American children to be educated towards assimilation. So essentially nothing changed. Brand new school, but policy dictated that they assimilate the children. The 1970s was the official end of the old Indian school system, but St. Joseph's is an independently operated off-reservation school and continues to operate today as a charity. The reason this school still exists is because the area is extremely rural, is extremely poor. These parents are sending their kids to this school in the hopes that they can make a better life for themselves. Oh, they'll give you an education, but can you pose for a few photos first? If you want to fast forward through this section, that's okay. I'm going to have timestamps at the bottom that'll let you know when it's okay to come back. I'm going to talk about the abuses specifically at St. Joseph's Indian School. It isn't all sunshine and throwing leaves at St. Joseph's Indian School. Kathy Marie Boker did her doctorate in education, and she interviewed 10 women who were in the residential school system back in the 70s before the system was shut down. So she did 10 oral histories, essentially, and included in the 10 women were women who had gone to St. Joseph's Indian School. And I've pulled out 2 stories from from this dissertation that talk about how girls were treated at St. Joseph's Indian School. The women who attended St. Joseph's recalled that when boys or girls ran away from the school, they were publicly humiliated. The boys had their heads shaved completely, or they were given a mohawk haircut, and they were made to wear bib overalls. If someone could tell me why bib overalls were punishment clothing, let me know in the comments. I found that very interesting. The girls also had their hair cut short, but they were sent to see Mother Superior, who oversaw the nuns at the boarding school. The women reported that if you had to see Mother Superior, she would talk to you about what you had done, and then you were given the choice of which belt was to be used on you. This is story number 2. The women who attended St. Joseph's Indian School reported that they could not tell their parents of the abuse in letters because the letters were written for them. They stated that when they wrote letters home, they were required to copy the text from a classroom blackboard. These letters contained generic phrases, and this is what was mailed home to parents. This explains why parents thought their students were doing fine at the boarding school because the letters said they were. So that was St. Joseph's Indian School back in the 70s. These are stories from these particular women. I'm going to move on to another article. This is from The Guardian. This next story is being told from the nephew of someone who went to St. Joseph's Indian School in the 70s. My relative calls St. Joseph's a smorgasbord who preyed and terrorized the native children. He describes beatings and nights of terror as priests took their pick of children as they slept. The abuse was worse for the girls, who were sometimes impregnated by their, he tells me. His experience was not unique and has been documented elsewhere by journalists and scholars. 8 plaintiffs sued the Sioux Falls Diocese in 2010 for alleged they had experienced in the 70s at the hands of multiple members of the clergy and one staff member. The photograph of one of these men still hangs on the wall of St. Joseph's hallway of its school museum, visible to children and visitors who pass it. Just days before these survivors were to go to court in 2010, the Republican governor of South Dakota, Mike Rounds, now a U.S. senator, signed a bill into law prohibiting anyone 40 years or older from recovering damages from institutions responsible for their abuse, except from individual perpetrators themselves. So this law said you could not sue the diocese. You had to sue the actual person that abused you, not the institution. This act crushed the lawsuit, effectively shielding the Catholic Church from any responsibility or accountability. The bill was written and proposed by Stephen Smith, a Chamberlain attorney who, according to the Argus Ledger, was representing the priests of the Sacred Heart, the founders of St. Joseph's Indian School, in several cases at the time. Smith accused the survivors of being motivated by money and costing the church undue expenses and legal fees. The lawsuits were, quote unquote, a ticket out of squalor for the survivors, Smith told the Huffington Post in 2011. So your donations, right, because this is being paid for, the priests of the Sacred Heart, the people that run St. Joseph's Indian School, and St. Joseph's Indian School pays a fee to these priests of the Sacred Heart. Your donations went to passing that law. I'm just letting you know that is how they use the money that you have given them. They pass laws that say that survivors of the school in the past cannot sue them and get reparations for the harm that they were caused. Let's go back to the wiki page for St. Joseph's Indian School. This is my favorite part. In the 2010s, St. Joseph's Indian School was investigated for several issues relating to its fundraising practices. In 2013, the school failed to meet the BBB Wise Giving Alliance standards for charity and accountability. In 2014, the fundraising practices of St. Joseph's Indian School were investigated by CNN. Native American leaders complained that the school's solicitations could be classified as poverty porn, and they stressed only the social ills of Indian country. CNN quoted Leonard Peace, chairman of the Crow Creek Sioux, who said, "A school run by non-Indians is raising a fortune off of racial stereotypes. This school has sent out frequent mass mailings to raise funds, including featuring sales of dream catchers made in China to raise money, and emotional letters of appeal that claim to tell students stories." However, Leonard Peace says there are no Native children by those names in the communities St. Joseph says they are from. CNN describes these appeals as fictitious pleas for help. The school's spokespeople admitted the letters and the children are not real, but instead, these are real stories, but it would be hard for us to pin them down onto only one child. Additionally, the school ignores requests by recipients of their mailings that the mailing should be discontinued. According to an interview with President Tyrell of the school by Indian Country Today in 2014, the Better Business Bureau described the school's fundraising letters as misleading appeal. Also, President Tyrell said that the BBB had earlier criticized the school for soliciting funds based on not having enough money to heat the school. At the time, the school appeared to have millions of dollars available for such needs. In 2014, the school's attorney told Indian Country Today that they would end the use of such student letters in fundraising. I've pulled the quote. Oh, it's Stephen Smith again, the guy that wrote the law. "Apparently the school has heard this message loud and clear," said the school's attorney Stephen Smith. "Fundraising letters like this will never ever be a part of our fundraising approach again. A great lesson was learned. It has caused some pretty intense introspection. But in 2017, the school reportedly made $51 million from donations, and the next year continued to mail out thousands of so-called student letters seeking charitable donations. As of November 2018, the school has continued its direct mail campaign. They have also been criticized for mass mailings based on expense. U.S. News & World Report pointed out that these are a very expensive fundraising method. All right, let's get to the meat of why we're actually here. I've got a stack of letters. In the direct mail world, they call these packages from St. Joseph's Indian School. So we have this set from October, this set from December. What should we be looking for in these packages? I've read you a whole bunch of information about St. Joseph's Indian School. So let's see what we should be keeping our eagle eyes looking for while we go through these packages. We need to be looking for dream catchers and premium gifts. This is where reciprocity comes into play. St. Joseph's Indian School has given you a gift. Now they expect you to give them a donation. We're looking for poverty porn. We're looking for fake kids and fictitious pleas for help. We are looking for misleading appeals, such as soliciting funds based on not having enough money to heat the school. I'm going to add in some more generic things that are just very, very common in the junk mail world. We're looking for long letters, interactivities such as surveys, petitions, and other tasks. Large print for old eyes. On the opposite end of that, small print to hide things from people. people. This is just a big umbrella statement for all junk mail. The more time you spend with a mail piece, the more likely you are to donate. And it could be through a long letter. It could be through interaction with the mail piece in some way. The more time you spend with it, the more time you spend touching the mail piece, the more likely it is you are to donate. Let's get started on these mail pieces. Okay, these are our first two. So I received this mail piece in October. My holiday gift card package is here. It actually it has a quote unquote packing slip, and the contents are greeting cards, matching envelopes, and plus a free gift that I'm not even expecting. Oh my. And this is handled with care, do not bend. Yeah, it's a little stiff. And then the back of the outer envelope says, "Thank you for caring. Happy holidays." So we'll put that to the side. We have a return envelope that says thank you in Lakota. We have the donation slip. We will put that to the side for the moment. We have the letter itself. I only donated $10 to St. Joseph's Indian School. I am not one of their top tier donors. I don't expect to be getting their high roller mail pieces, which I know exist. This is a Post-it, but it is not real. It is printed. And the Post-it says, "Could you send a gift of $35 to help the Lakota children?" First off, we've already got type crimes going on, which is always fun. And by type crimes, I mean we have multiple fonts on the same page. I believe that the actual logo is St. Joseph's Indian School is one font. They've actually got two fonts in this little logo up here. We've got the fake handwriting here, which is one font, and then we have fake right handwriting over here, different font, and the actual body of the letter is yet a third font. Type crimes, people. The other type crimes that you're likely to see are typographical emphasis, which is underlining in bold. It is our pleasure to deliver your holiday card package. As you use these gifts, we hope you remember the Native American children at St. Joseph's Indian School. Please return the donation form and gift tickets enclosed at your earliest convenience and accept our very best wishes for a blessed holiday season. Okay, so, oh yeah, there are the cards right there. We'll get to those in a minute. I'm not going to torture you by reading this entire letter. I've highlighted two sections to read. A recent U.S. Census shows that Ziebach County, home of the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation in South Dakota, as the poorest in the nation. In fact, of the 5 poorest counties in the United States, South Dakota has 4 of them, all homes to reservations. Now, I am going to call that poverty porn. And, you know, it's interesting because you cannot call these people, you cannot call these children savages or heathens anymore. You've got to soften up your language. So instead, they're using U.S. Census data to let you know how poor and uncivilized the people in this area are. More poverty porn. Now is the time of year when we begin preparing for another South Dakota winter and Christmas season. Temperatures can fall below 0 degrees with howling winds and frequent snowfall. That means that sweaters, hats, gloves, boots, and winter coats are needed for all the children in our care. So they're saying it gets very cold. The children need clothes because they are poor. So those are the two little highlights of this particular letter I want to point out. Let's go on to the other goodies. All right, so we've got some Christmas cards here. We have 8 Christmas cards. Brickmill, the company that does all of this, they actually own the rights. Then Brickmill's the actual company owns the rights to the art, and then they lease it out to make these greeting cards that the charities put in their mail packages. St. Joseph's Indian School is not the only Innovairre Brickmill customer that gives out greeting cards. So there is that. Those are the greeting cards. That's your premium gift. And then I guess this is the gift we weren't even expecting. It's 12 Days of Christmas Timeless Desserts. We're gonna fast forward through a lot of these. These are some pretty basic. There we go. This is the one interesting page for me. It has Lakota fry bread recipe. In case you don't know, fry bread is essentially poverty food. Fry bread utilized rations that were given to Native peoples when the government would give them flour and lard. And so they invented fry bread to utilize the rations that they had. And then we have the fruit pudding here that uses a Lakota word, and it's choke cherries or frozen berries. So you're basically making a berry compote to put on top of the fry bread. To me, this is the one interesting, those are only interesting recipes in here. If you want to see this, I've completely scanned this and put it on and put it online if you want to see all of it. And then, of course, we say Merry Christmas in Lakota. So that is the recipe book that we weren't even expecting. And now we have a Christmas wish list. So Libby wants a squishmallow. Joseph wants a wireless speaker. Leo wants headphones. Sadie wants Legos. Nathan wants a science kit. And Cassidy wants rope lights. In the CNN article, this is one of the things that one of the tribal members was pointing out, how these are not real names of children. This is all fake. I'm assuming the gifts are fake as well. They are real kids that go to the school. I was able to find Nathan here. I was able to find his picture. Cassidy. Oh, Cassidy's a superstar. She's actually on the homepage of the St. Joseph's website right now. And Leo, I've been able to find his picture. These are actual children who go to the school. And it just makes me wonder, are the kids, are they signing like releases? Did they and their parents sign a release before if you go to the school, you have to sign a release to have your picture plastered all over their advertisements? It really makes you wonder. At the very, very bottom, in teeniest, tiniest little print that you cannot read, is a disclaimer. The disclaimer reads, names, photos have been changed to protect the privacy of those we serve. As the needs of the children featured in this wish list are fulfilled, St. Joseph's Indian School reserves the right to distribute gift donations to other Native American children and programs in need. Your grandparent sees this, they think Libby is going to get a squishmallow, but that's not actually what's going to happen. The money they donate is just going to go into the one bucket. There's only one bucket for St. Joseph's Indian School. So you don't know that this actual child is going to receive this actual gift. That's just the way it is. This is merely, I guess, a suggestion of how the funds could be distributed. The thing that annoys me is this print is so tiny. Not even I cannot read it. I've got my bifocals now. I'm really old. I cannot read that. I had to use my camera to blow it up big enough so that I could actually read it. And then we've gone on the back. We have a listing. We have how many meals they've served, how many, I guess, doctor visits. We've got other stats of how awesome this charity is with smiling children. All right, let's go to the most important page, the donation page. Here is the donation form. At the top, it actually says $20 provides Christmas dinners, $25 helps with Christmas gifts, $35 helps with warm blankets, $50 helps with winter clothing. I actually like it when charities do this. They tell you, if you donate this amount of money, these are the kinds of projects we can do. Unfortunately, that's not what's going on here. You're just donating to, like I said, the one bucket. There's one fund. There is no Christmas dinner fund. There isn't a Christmas gifts fund. There is a general fund for the entire charity. And when I talk about interactivity with the mail pieces, this is what I'm talking about. They want you to cut out this little ticket and they want you to put it in your return envelope with your check. What's actually going to happen is the caging company, the people that process donations when you send them through the mail, those companies are called caging companies. It's a weird name, but it's long and complicated to tell you why. Anyway, the caging company is going to rip open this envelope. They're going to throw away this little ticket, and they're just going to keep the check. No one cares that you filled out the Christmas dinner ticket. That's going in the trash. All they care about is the check when they're processing the mail. And then the reverse side says many thanks in Lakota, and it's got the space for you to fill out your credit card information. Okay, let's go on to mail piece number 2. And you're like, gosh, why is this mail piece number 2? Well, because this is you going on your donor journey. What charities like to do now is they like to keep you informed, quote unquote, informed and quote unquote engaged constantly. So you were sent this giant package, and this mail piece is all about, hey, do you remember that giant mail package we sent you? Watch. Mrs., my fake name that I'm using for these people, are you enjoying your special gifts? Are you enjoying your recipe book and your cards? I hope you are enjoying your dream catcher. Whoa, dream catcher. I didn't get a dream catcher. I'm getting ripped off. Where's my dream catcher at? I hope you're enjoying your dream catcher and other gifts the Lakota Sioux boys and girls sent you a few weeks ago. Okay, listen. The kids do not know that this was sent out. That's already a lie. Because of your generosity, we're learning the Lakota language. That's generosity in Lakota. The St. Joseph's Indian School is able to provide for approximately 200 deserving Native American children. Each student receives a solid education, caring house parents, and the security of living in a safe home with enough to eat. Wow. Okay. Anyway, so this is a reminder. Hey, remember that big package we gave you? Did you send in your donation? Make sure you send in your donation. So the back of this one is, again, teaching us about the charity itself. So we've got 24 teachers, house parents. This is telling you about the staff. Okay. The donation, this is the actual donation page. Again, the most important part. If you donate $20, we're interacting. They expect you to put this ticket, this little ticket right here into the return envelope with your check. Provide nutritious meals, provide comfortable bedding. So they're implying that the kids do not have sheets and blankets, school supplies, and books. Okay. And what do we got here? We've got many thanks in Lakota, and we're empowering students. Oh, it's got the South Dakota high school graduation rate. St. Joseph's Indian School has a 96% graduation rate for high school. That's actually very good. Good for them. So that came in October. They're already getting ready for Christmas, people, in October. All right. This is mail piece set number 2. All right. So we have I'm sorry. I totally forgot to talk about the outer envelope. So this is a classic St. Joseph's Indian School outer envelope. It says, please, and then help in handwriting. This is a font. This is not this is a font that they use. This is not real. Okay, so we've got Merry Christmas in Lakota. And again, it's a fake Post-it. I'm not good enough to get the real Post-its. Could you send a gift of $35 to help the Lakota Sioux children? Merry Christmas to me from all the children at St. Joseph's Indian School. Merry Christmas. The Sioux boys and girls send you their wishes for a blessed holiday season. Please enjoy my free gifts. Oh, we actually list out our free gifts this time. We get a wooden ornament, a pen, 2 cards with matching envelopes, and gloves. And here we go. Meet Sophia. Okay, so now we've got a fake child. Sophia here is not real. This is not the name of an actual child. This is a made-up story by someone who lives in New York. Sophia was 6 years old when she arrived at St. Joseph's. Her family struggled financially and could not provide Sophia the very basics, so they chose St. Joseph's. They wanted a safe environment for their little girl to grow up in while receiving a quality education. Simply put, they wanted more for her. Okay, so yeah, so that is not real. I'm sure this type of situation happens, but again, Sophia isn't real. The best Christmas gift ever. Oh no, this is so fake. How do you know the true meaning of Christmas? As the teacher looked across the room to see how the students answered, Sophia's hand stayed by her side. This particular little girl had never heard the story of Jesus' birth. Okay, so remember, this is a Catholic charity. So a child learning about Jesus and the story of Jesus is a very big deal to the people who donate to this charity. After hearing the story, and then she loves Jesus. Okay, that's great. You've got typographical emphasis here with the underline. Thanks to friends like you, Sophia can finally see past the challenges she faced before coming to St. Joseph's. The sad truth is the Lakota Nation is one of the most impoverished in America. There are many reasons for this, some going back to the 1800s. However, what matters now is the hope we are offering the Lakota children. With your help and our guidance, precious children can fulfill their dreams for a brighter future for themselves and their people. That's pretty sappy. Again, we're mentioning how the people who this church services are the most impoverished in America, so that counts as poverty porn. All right. Now, this one. This is supposedly a letter written by a 7th grader, so that puts them at 13, 14, somewhere in there. This is not written by a child. This is not handwriting. This is a font. This is all fake. And your 80-year-old grandparent thinks it's real because they do not realize that Innovairre and all of these companies, all these fundraising companies have invested millions and millions of dollars into getting fonts that look just like real handwriting. This is amazing, but it's not real. You've just got to believe me. No human was involved with this. Hi, my name is Amelia. fake child, not a real kid. And I'm in the 7th grade. I like St. Joseph's because I get to learn about my culture, have a good education, and basically live with my friends. And anyway, it goes on and on like this. Thank you so much for donating to my school. Thanks to you, my dreams might come true. And a little heart. A kid didn't write this. No children were harmed in the making of this letter. Okay, let's flip it over. And did I find those kids? I don't think I found those kids. Okay, so there we go. And it's Merry Christmas in Lakota. Let's keep her moving. All right, so this is Christmas wishes. Okay, so again, these are real children that really go to the school, but the names are fake. Yeah, Noah wanting a monster truck. Lydia wants roller skates. No, Lila wants roller skates. Emma wants a jewelry box. Liam wants Transformers. Isaac wants a football. And Isabella wants sketch pads. So the names are fake. The gifts are fake. But the pictures are real. Those are real kids that really go to the school. Oh, okay. I have found all of these children on the Flickr account for St. Joseph's Indian School. And you should recognize that little face right there, because that's Cassidy. So they must really love her photos. She's on the website. She's in 2 mail pieces. Yeah. So like I said, I found all these kids. So they're very, very real. They go to the school. I don't know if a kid actually drew that. Probably. This is interactivity. So this is an ornament I'm supposed to hang on my tree. I'm supposed to keep one, and I'm supposed to send the other one back to the school. Best wishes for a joyous holiday filled with peace, love, and joy. Merry Christmas. And then I'm supposed to write a note to the child and put it into the return envelope and send it back. And what's going to happen to this piece of paper that I filled out, it's going to go in the trash. This will go in the trash, and they'll keep the check. 2 Christmas cards. Here is our wooden ornament and a pair of gloves. So there is that. And now this is interesting. This took me a while to figure out what was going on with the pens attached to the mail piece. Because I sit around and all I do is think about what is going on with this mail piece. Why is there a pen attached right there? And I have a sneaky suspicion that they interviewed, surveyed potential donors to St. Joseph's Indian School. And I'll bet one of the things they found out is that if there is not a pen nearby when they open up the mail piece, when they're going through the mail piece, that they won't donate. It's like, well, why didn't you donate this time? Oh, I couldn't find a pen. Oh, you couldn't find a pen? Well, here, we will make sure you have a pen ready to go when you get this mail piece. It's so fascinating. Anyway, so this one has got the little tickets again. So interactivity again. So not only, so you're sending back a ticket and you're going to send back this little ornament in your return envelope. So we've got $20 for Christmas dinners, $35 for Christmas gifts, $25 for hats, scarves, and boots, $50 for winter coats, and then $130 for other. Oh, and my relative, she loved filling out other. That was her whole thing. So anyway, so I finally figured out the pen is so they have a pen on hand to fill out their checkbook, to fill out their credit card information to send back immediately. So we're removing barriers to donation. That's what we're doing here. Okay, here is the follow-up friendly reminder. Oh, we've got a dream catcher, kids. It's only a picture though. Okay. So this is the follow-up piece to that big mess. I hope you are enjoying the Christmas items the Lakota boys and girls sent you a few weeks ago. Because of your loving support, St. Joseph's Indian School provides so much for approximately 200 deserving children living on campus. Each student is given a top-notch education, loving house parents, a safe home, nutritious meals, warm clothing, and so much more. My biggest issue with these follow-up letters is that if you're the average person that is on the mailing list for St. Joseph's Indian School, you're elderly, you possibly have dementia, you don't remember getting this a couple weeks ago. You don't remember that you used the pen and that you've already given them a donation. You've forgotten. And this charity depends on people forgetting that they have already donated so they get another donation. That is my biggest issue with the quote unquote donor journey that these people are being put on. They're doubling up. And the thing is, you get the initial mail piece, you get the follow-up mail piece. If you donate, you get another mail piece. Every time you donate, you get another mail piece saying thank you for your donation. So now what should be one mail piece for winter turns into 4 because you get the initial mail piece, thank you for your donation, donor journey letter. You get the follow-up letter that goes to everybody, and then you donate for that one, and then you get yet another mail piece for that donation. The more you interact with the mail, the more you send back a check, the more mail you're going to get from the initial charity, and the more you interact with the initial charity, the more that charity puts you on other mailing lists. I mean, the avalanche of mail just starts coming in because of this. Anyway, here is my gift and my impact. We've already seen this sheet. Again, we've got thank you in Lakota. And then here are the gift tickets that will be thrown away by the Cajun company. When they open up your letter, when they open up your return envelope, they'll take your check. This goes in the trash. This is their winter campaign. And like I said, I'm a low-end donor. I only gave them $10. And this is I got 4 mail pieces for their winter campaign. Okay, now that we've actually looked at the physical mail pieces that people get in the mail, let's talk about money. Because where does your money go? How much money do they have? St. Joseph's Indian School does not have a rating from Charity Navigator because they are a church. Charity Watch, another watchdog charity group, has done its best to ask for the financials of St. Joseph's Indian School, but the school turned them down. Right now, Charity Watch, they use an ABC, they use a grade, they use a letter grade method for their ratings. Right now, St. Joseph's Indian School gets a question mark because they do not have enough data to even begin to give them a rating. The best I can do in terms of financials for this particular charity is to go to their website and look at their annual report. These annual reports are supposed to let everybody know all the good things they've done all year and how they're maximizing your charitable donation. But in the case of this particular charity, even though they try to put lipstick on this pig, the cracks of the scam charity just comes shining through. I'm showing you a graphic right now. This is their cost to raise $1. They boast that 66 cents of every dollar are spent on programs. This is a terrible charity. 66 cents is very low. That's gross. Bare minimum charity expense chart. Charity Navigator used to have a chart similar to this. I've modified it so it matches the chart that St. Joseph's Indian School has. Overhead should be approximately 25% and programs should be at 75%. This is the bare minimum. This is the bar is so low it is on the ground expense chart. This is the minimum that a charity should be doing. Ideally, when you have as much money coming in as St. Joseph's Indian School, programs should be at 90%. That's the ideal. This is the bare minimum. So now I have plugged in St. Joseph's numbers into my little pie chart here. So now you can see their overhead is 34% and their programs is 66%. That's terrible. That is a horrible charity. And I'll tell you another sneaky thing that charities like this like to do is that they classify junk mail as programs. And did you notice when I was going through the mail pieces, all of the times they used the Lakota language to say Merry Christmas or thank you? They're educating you on the language. The sheet that shows all of the good things that they do, how many meals they serve, how much classroom time there is. They're educating you about the charity. So this mail piece, because they educate you about the charity because they use the Lakota language, this is no longer counts as fundraising. This now counts as programs. This letter is now equal to classroom time. And if St. Joseph's would like to dispute me on how they actually classify these fundraising mail pieces, please open your books. Let's take a look. Open your books and let's see how you distribute your money. All right, back to their annual report. This is how much money they had in the bank at the time of this report, and it is almost $300 million. They lost $30 million in the stock market or in their investments this year. Apparently, they invested in Doink Doink coin. Their crypto investments didn't pan out the way they were hoping, apparently. So they lost $30 million. Heaven forbid you put it in an index fund, kids. Yeah, so if they hadn't lost $30 million, they would have over $300 million. I never, ever, 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 ever want to hear about an elderly person making any sacrifices to donate to this school. Ever, ever, ever again. I do not want to hear about unpaid bills. I do not want to hear about eating unhealthy food. I don't want to hear any of it. No. Grandma should never, ever donate $20 to this charity ever, ever again. Quite frankly, this charity should be giving money to your grandparents. They've got so much money in the bank. Did you know that there's a junk mail Hall of Fame? Because there is. There is a junk mail Hall of Fame. Let's go and take a look at that for a second. So right now we are looking at the ANA. That's the American Association of National Advertisers or something. I can't remember. This is the Nonprofit Federation Award. Okay, they made up a fake award for themselves. Okay, so the ANA, that's the people that run the DMA Choice Program. I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know how it's all connected, kids. You gave them $4 to get off mailing lists, and they give awards out to junk mailers. There we go. The Max Heart Achievement Award. That is the junk mail awards. Charity junk mail awards. So Max Heart was the head of the Disabled American Veterans, the DAV. You've probably gotten, oh, I'm sorry. Do I have a piece of junk mail from them? Hold on. Oh, Disabled American Veterans. I'm on their mailing list because of St. Joseph's Indian School. In 2010, St. Joseph's Indian School was put in the Hall of Fame for advertising fundraising. And of course, what does that equal? It equals junk mail. As we're looking at this list, and there are some very, very famous charities on this list, I recommend that you never ever donate to any of these charities because obviously they have too much money to go into advertising. Never, ever, ever donate to any charity on this list, past, future, whatever, because they will send you lots of junk mail. That's what this is. This is the Junk Mail Hall of Fame. Never donate to anybody on this list. So now we're looking at the St. Joseph's Indian School mailing lists. One in particular is St. Joseph's Indian School donors. Their base group of people, I'm one of them, is 1,108,200 and some people. That is their core group. And then all of these other lists, the Apogee, the Data Axle, the Wyland, those are individual data brokers. Oh, the data brokers, I actually tell you to opt out of both Data Axle and Wyland. And I can't remember who Apogee is. Apogee's a part of it. Anyway, so this is basically telling you that if you donate to St. Joseph's Indian School, you will be sucked into these data brokers' databases. You'll be churned around in their data and out will pop more junk mail. I'm showing you this so that you can see that it's not just this charity. You're going to be fed into a machine and out's going to come even more junk mail that's targeted at you. So St. Joseph's Indian School actually has a website on its a page on its website dedicated, gee, I got a mailer from you. What's going on? And they make all these excuses as to why they send out the junk that they do. It's super gross if you want to read that. It's disgusting. It's like, we just wanted to get your attention. You don't need to get my attention with a pile of trash. Let's talk about the actual fundraiser. Their fundraisers is called Innovairre. I think there's a way that you can make like a short that's a response to this video. If you know how to pronounce that word, make a short and make it as a response to this video so I know how to pronounce this company in the future. I've never heard it pronounced. I've only seen it in print. So let's have somebody figure out how to pronounce this word. Anyway, Innovairre, Quadriga Art, and Brickmill. These are all the same company. They're all the same company. I have to say them. You got to group them together because they're all the same company. Because if you just look up Innovairre in Google, you're not really going to see anything. But if you Google Quadriga Art, that's when the fun happens. That's when you really see the spicy stuff that these people have done. These companies are run by Mark Scholhoff, and he's the guy in charge of all of this. Innovairre, actually Quadriga Art at the time, was fined. They had the largest amount of financial relief ever obtained for deceptive charitable fundraising. And that was from the New York State Attorney General. They did that. They fined them $25 million because they were doing deceptive practices. I'll link to that so you can read that. Mother Jones did an article about one of the scam charities that worked with Innovairre called the SPCA International. This is a sound-alike charity. This is not the real SPCA. This is a fake charity that has a sound-alike name that has no association with the SPCA. It's a fun read unto itself, but I'm going to read one particular quote from this article. Mark Schulhoff and his uncle Thomas, these men have become known in the nonprofit world for propping up little-known charities with aggressive and often misleading marketing campaigns. Oh, does that sound familiar? We saw that earlier. Gosh, I wonder how much you can make running a scam fundraising company. Well, let me tell you. If you saw the interview with Meghan and Harry on Netflix, the home where that interview was filmed is actually owned by Mark Schulhoff. It was actually for sale at the time. So whatever your opinion of Meghan and Harry is, these two have hitched their wagon to this guy. And to me, that speaks volumes about their motives. Innovairre, Quadriga Art, Brickmill, they specialize in churches or religious charities. That's what they specialize in. And they are the leader in quote unquote premium products in direct mail. That is their specialty. I did a ProPublica search. ProPublica has, I love that they've done this. They've taken all the IRS 990s and they've made them searchable, which is fantastic. I had searched for Innovairre, and these are all the charities I pulled up. Yes, you're getting junk mail from St. Joseph's Indian School, but these are also clients of Innovairre. When you're trying to stop junk mail from St. Joseph's Indian School, if you are getting junk mail from 3 or more of these charities, also contact Innovairre and get out of their system as well. We're ramping it up. We're going up the ladder to try to stop as much junk mail at the same time as possible. So you also contact Innovairre to stop even more junk mail. I am a firm believer of you are the company you keep. These are only the ones I could find because Innovairre specializes in religious charity fundraising. I cannot see all of their clients. These are the ones that are non-religious who I can actually see the IRS documents for. You've got the Native American Rights Fund. It's 4-star charity. You've got the National Caregiving Foundation. That's a 1-star charity. Can you see what's going on? They've got these high-ranking 4-star legitimate charities, but then they've also got these scam charities with 1 star in their roster. They bring you in with a legit charity, but then they start sending you junk mail of a scam charity where they make even more money because the fundraising fees are so high. My recommendation is that you do not donate to any of these charities, no matter what their rating is, because they are associated with Innovairre. Innovairre will put you on the mailing list for their other clients. Kids Wish Network, 1 star. They have actually been banned from soliciting donations in Minnesota for the next 5 years because of their deceptive advertising that they do. That's who Innovairre has as a if Innovairre was a good company, they would kick them off the roster and not have them as a client anymore. But no, there they are. Big as life, a 1-star charity. Disabled Veterans National Foundation, 1 star. These are the people that sued earlier. They're the ones that sued and said, hey, stop treating us bad, but they're still clients. So go figure on that. How to stop junk mail from these people. I'm going to give you the link to the contact page for St. Joseph's Indian School. They have a phone number. They have an email address. If you email them, I'm going to put up a sample letter for you right now that I recommend that you use. Please put me on the suppression list. Suppression list is terminology used in the direct mail world. They are going to take you off the please send me all of your junk mail list, and they're going to put you on the suppression list, which is the please do not mail me things anymore list. Please put me on the suppression list for your mailing list and all of the mailing lists that you buy, sell, and trade. That's key because, we took you off of our list, but okay, well, what about that list over there that you bought? Take us off of that one too. It takes 90 days to flush out of their system. That means that's at least 3 more mail pieces. It could be 6, you don't know, depending on what time of year it is. 3 more dream catchers, 3 more sad stories from fake children. This is the stuff I think about when I'm thinking about, waiting to get off the mailing list for 3 months. There are 1 million people. That means that in a warehouse somewhere, there is 3 months of junk mail for 1 million people. And then they also buy, sell, and trade other mailing lists. So what is it? Is it double? Is there like a warehouse of 6 million potential junk mail? There's like a warehouse with 6 million pieces of mail waiting to be mailed out. This is the weird stuff I think about. Anyway, I'm also going to give you the contact page for Innovairre. So you can, if you've noticed that you're getting junk mail from another one of their clients, you can stop even more junk mail by going 1 more rung up the ladder. And I am going to give a shameless plug for Paper Karma right now. I am going to exploit the people that exploit children for a plug. If you're getting a lot of junk mail, if this is what your mailbox looks like, if you're getting trash in your mailbox every day, I highly recommend that you sign up for Paper Karma. So instead of sending emails to each individual charity, you just take a picture of the junk mail and Paper Karma takes care of it for you. It saves you so much time. Oh my gosh. My affiliate link will be below in the description box. I've got a coupon code DJM30 for 30% off a subscription. When I was in the middle of stopping a major junk mail problem, for me, Paper Karma was a lifesaver. They saved me so much time. So that's my Paper Karma plug for the day. What more can you do? Normally, this is where I tell you can file complaints against them, and I usually list the AG of the state that they're based in, but it's obvious that this charity has the local government wrapped around their little finger. So you're going to have to go big or go home with these people. I'm going to give you the information to the South Dakota AG, but something tells me they're not going to do anything. So I've also got complaint forms for the IRS and the FTC. And you can always report them to your state's AG. Notice how Minnesota got Kids Wish Network to not be able to solicit in their state. And then what you need to focus on in your complaint is deceptive charitable fundraising. Point out the fake names, the fake presents that they had on those sheets, and that disclaimer that's so tiny you need a magnifying glass to read it. Nobody can read that thing. It's so freaking tiny. It is not illegal to spend so little on programs. I need to emphasize that. Innovairre taking a massive chunk out of your donation is not illegal. It's so annoying that it isn't, but that's the way the law is right now. It's not illegal to send you piles of junk in the junk mail. The most you can do is not donate to this charity until they stop these fundraising practices. Charity Watch has one Native charity that they recommend, and it's the American Indian College Fund. I'll link to Charity Watch's Native American Heritage Month post that they did that actually lists out a whole bunch of Native charities. You're probably getting junk mail from some of them. I'm going to link to the Cheyenne River Youth Project. They service the same area that St. Joseph's Indian School does. Cheyenne River Reservation, that's where they do their work. So that's the same, that's one of the reservations that is a feeder for St. Joseph's Indian School. And the Cheyenne River Youth Project gets 3 stars from Charity Navigator. So that's a good place to start. I'm going to link to an interactive map of Native territories, and you can zoom in on where you live so you can learn more about the Native peoples in your area. Instead of donating to this charity, become more involved in the Native people in your area. Go to powwows. Have an Indian taco. Check out all the local artisans at the powwow. I'm going to link to somebody who's in my area, Tony Soar. He makes pottery in the style of the Native peoples from the Mojave Desert. His work is so beautiful. He does flip napping too. I'm going to link to his Instagram page so that you can see the work he's doing. I can guarantee there is someone in your area doing exactly what he does, making art in the old ways, carrying on that tradition to the youngsters. Go to those small local museums in your area. You probably went to them as a kid and you're like so bored. Go back and look at them with new eyes. I can guarantee you're going to find a rock stuck under a display case that's a matero or a matate. It might even have rock art on it. I have found so much rock art jammed under a display case in little tiny local museums. Oh my goodness. I'm going to recommend 3 newspapers for you that you can read. Indian Country Today, Native News Online, and a new one called Buffalo Fire that I just found is so good. Our small town papers, they just cover Indian country. It's got all that small town flavor that I love. Just cover the world of Native Americans. Everything from graduations, people opening up small businesses. It'll open your eyes to see how much is going on in the world of Native Americans right now and how positive it is. They're going to cover the ugly stuff. They're going to cover finding bodies at residential schools. They're going to cover missing women. They're going to cover missing men. But at the same time, they're also going to show you all the positive things going on right now. And there's so much good going on in the world of Native Americans right now. It's really great to see it. Elect more Native people to political office. Native American rights aren't going to get pushed to the forefront until there are more Native representation in our national elected offices, and that's just the way it is. We need more Native representation in all levels of politics. Write your national representatives and tell them that the Cherokee and the Choctaw need to have their delegates in Congress. Treaties were signed over 100 years ago saying they would get a non-voting delegate. Where is it? They need their non-voting delegate in Congress. Write your U.S. representatives to push that forward. Let them know that that's an important thing that people want. Watch Native American media. Smoke signals has become a flashpoint for Native American media. Reservation Dogs and Dark Winds are both wonderful. Both of these projects are so much bigger than the end product on the screen. Dark Winds is actually training the next generation of Native American filmmakers, and I want to see the next smoke signals made by the kids that are working on Dark Winds. And what I don't want to see is more fake Indian crap crapped out by fake Indians. Thank you all for watching an incredibly long video. I had to get all of the information about St. Joseph's Indian School out. If you were on the mailing list for St. Joseph's Indian School, chances are you're on the mailing list for possibly hundreds of other charities. If you have a huge junk mail problem that you need to stop, I'm going to put a video somewhere in this side of this, somewhere over here. That's my battle plan on how to stop a massive junk mail problem. So watch that one next. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you stop all of your junk mail.